What is up, guys, and welcome back to episode of the F1 Clash 2024 series. This is episode number 28 today as we get set then for some more races here. This time around, let's see if we can get closer to Series 6 here. Our Series 5 has done quite well, and we must say. And now let's see if we can get on with this new episode here, and so far it's looking good for us as we will come to the line and out-qualify our rival with both our drivers. We got Weber and Norris using this time around. Our rival is using Button and Madison, which is quite interesting. But in terms of the actual race itself, it wasn't that bad because, well, again, the one-stop here is simply the superior mode of strategy compared to the two-stop. So really just mitigating that was the biggest issue for us. And anyways, making our way through the pit stop phase, Weber came out in P5. Norris comes out then about 9 positions behind P14. Our rival using his Jensen Button here with the downforce boost on medium tires here. And if I do recall correctly, that Jensen Button does have good tire management, so not surprised to see him use that. But as for Norris, so since he is on the hard tires, we can't actually afford to push him more. That was the reason why I really kept him on the hard tires. I probably could have given the medium tires if I really wanted to, but he ended up having almost no tires at the end. So we came across the line just losing out to one of the rivals, but no harm, no foul for us, as we do still win this race compared to a rival 40 points to his 30. So that was very easy, and we got a standard crate for that. But I think we've come to expect that at this point. On towards race number 2 here against a 609 team score. Now we're back at Singapore once again. Singapore actually came up quite a bit in this episode, and really just throughout this Series 5. So it was very kind of boring, I guess this is maybe monotonous in a sense, I'm not sure. But this one was a bit different though, as we come across the line P15 and 17 versus his 14th and 23rd as he's using the Madison. And also, interesting one with this one was we had the introduction of wet weather, and this was a really close call in the end. We were ahead of the rival for most of the part, but we had to make the right swap then to slick tires here. We actually could not have made it out another lap here. The tires are pretty much dead as we came across the line here. So we were forced to pit onto the medium tires here, despite the fact that the track is still not nearly dry enough here. It's still well into the 60% here. But we had to do it because there was no other rain forecast anyway. So, but anyways, making our way through the corners here, Norris is sitting up there in P6 with Weber there in P11. I think make that P10 now as he just makes an overtake here. But now that the track is starting to dry, it's starting to come more and more towards us. I don't think a lot of people actually are on the slick tires here. I think a lot of them are still on the wet tires. We might be one of the only ones on the slick tires, so this might actually pay out for us in the end, as Weber in P10 is trying to make a move here. We're watching Norris as he is still sitting very nicely in P5 here. But as we make our way towards the last set of corners here, the rain or the amount of wetness on the track is coming down to 30%, so this might actually end up being really good for us and towards the end here as we make our way then towards the final lap. And Norris will try to look for a move here, but I don't think he can. Meanwhile, Weber looking for a move on the inside here into this first corner here, does not make it work on Sonoda here, but he does make it work on the second corner. And there goes Norris here as the track is getting drier and drier. We are getting faster and faster compared to the AI around us here, and now we are well into the clear here, 15%, and this is the perfect time where we can push compared to the AI, as Norris is trying to look for a move here on his fellow friend Carlos Sainz here, but not working for us so far at the moment, as Weber's trying to catch up to a couple other guys here. Norris still not able to make the move here, but Weber, he's trying to also make a move up into P8, which is unfortunately not working as well. Getting a lot of red, which is kind of annoying us here. Speaking of red here, both Norris and Weber failed to attack once again here, which is quite annoying. Good thing the fact that we are way ahead of the rival, because this would be really pissing me off here. As we come across the line though, it will be 4th and 9th there, which is very nice. Then picking up another set of wins here as we make our way then towards the end, and I think our rival should be finishing just about now, and that should confirm our victory for us here. So it was a bit of a late call there, of course, into the pits, but we managed to make it work nonetheless, and we only got a standard crate this time around. But on to the next race, which is 638 team scores. This might be a bit interesting as we head, well, once again to Singapore. Let's see if we can pull this off here once again, depending on the weather, of course, as they make our way through the qualifying session here. Let's see where we end up here, and it's going to be, well, out qualifying our rival once again here, again using Weber and Norris, but this guy, that was a quite interesting lineup. He had Graham Hill and James Hunt, which was a really, really interesting one, but we had to make sure we had to play this right because this guy definitely was not playing it easy on us here. And we also didn't help the fact that there was some rain at the end here, but it didn't really matter because it was only dry throughout the entire race, and really Weber actually did a really solid job here. Unfortunately, we're not able to really push it because the hard tires, I mean, despite the fact that the one stop is pretty much the fastest way around the circuit, it just, the hard tires could barely last 3 laps here, especially with these guys. Despite the fact that we gave them both self-control boost to help with their tire management, it's just not working it. And I don't want to burn all my downforce boosts around this track, so. But anyways, across the line for Weber in P2. Norris comes across the line in P8, unfortunately, just loses 2 positions here across the side. P9 as he crosses the line with pretty much dead tires. But we wait for our rival to finish, and that is another win for us here. And that'll be 39 points compared to his 28, which is very nice here. Onto the fourth race, which is a 608 team score here. And well, what do you know? We're back at Monaco once again. Another really tight street track where the one stop is favored. So we'll have to do this once again here as we make our way through the qualifying session once again. Let's see where we end up, and it's going to be, well, actually a mixed up one, as Leclerc leads the way from his Piastri, from our Weber, and his Madison. So we're using Leclerc and Weber here at Monaco. Let's hope Leclerc doesn't bin it in the wall and kill us. But yes, we're going to be giving them some decent boosts here to try and manage them, and that will involve, I think, self-control for both of these guys because we're not really involving with a real player, but it will be nice to make sure we secure a victory here. We're sitting 13th and 17th here as we go 5 lights and lights out. Away we go. Average start for Leclerc. Weber gets a good start though. Now we see them make their way through the first set of corners here. Weber is really quick here, and luckily it was a very quiet race for us in a good sense here, as Weber is sitting P9 and Leclerc is just ahead of him actually in P8. So it was actually really helpful that we were able to just have a clean race from start to finish here. The tires were a bit close here, despite the fact we used some self-control boost. I mean, the self-control boost only gives a +5 to the time management stat, and unfortunately, Weber and Leclerc specifically are not that great at, they are really not that good at tire management. In fact, Weber's strongest stat is race start. I think his worst stat is tire management, and then Leclerc, I think his second worst stat is tire management. His best one was defending, so we didn't need that around Monaco, but I am glad that we were able to pull that off. Our rival also did a one stop as well, but they were much more aggressive, so they had to pay the price at the end. So our kind of conservative, more simple approach was very easy, and we were rewarded that with a gold crate here. So we're getting close then to making our way to Series 6 as we make our way towards race number 5 and a 635 team score back at Monaco. So 5 for 5 in terms of making the street tracks, but can we make it 5 for 5 in terms of wins here? This qualifying might be a little bit different here, 26 degrees Celsius. Shouldn't be too much of a factor here as we make our way through the final section here. Where are we going to end up on the grid? We're going to out-qualify our rival once again, 15th and 17th, but this time Weber is ahead of Leclerc. He's using Madison and Verstappen here. So we're going to probably stick with the same strategy, which is simply just do the one stop, and that literally was it here. We just all had to do was a one stop with Weber and Leclerc, use the self-control boost for both of these guys to secure the race win, and we get a double overtake at the end as Leclerc finishes P12 here, Weber finished P8, and our rival finished 13th and 22nd. So the two-stop, I mean, can't work. He did try it, but I just don't think he had the track position. You need to have severe track position if you really want to pull that off. We also got the fast lap with that as well, so that's another trophy to the pit pass exhibition, which is of course very nice, but we only get a standard crate, which I think we've all come to accept that the standard crate is pretty common nowadays. But we do have something we could unlock here in the exhibition, which is a gold crate here. Let's see what we get. Some suspension, we also get some more of the wing, we get some cold fusion, we also get some bolt ties, and we get some Hulkenberg, which, I mean, it's not the greatest thing, but it's not the worst thing. Anyways, the final race here, and this one's a bit of a tough one. 683 team score around the Netherlands, and this is not going to be easy in any sort of the slightest, because 683 team score is well 60 over hours, and I'm presuming that he has either a really strong driver lineup or a really good car lineup. But coming to the end of the qualifying, we actually managed to do a decent job here. Weber's in 10th. We have Verstappen in 17th. So maybe a bit of Max Magic will help us out here, as we are, of course, in his Zandvoort nonetheless. But we're not going to take any sort of risks whatsoever. We're going to give self-control to Weber here since he's starting ahead. We're going to have him on the hard tires here, try to make a one-stop work here. But as for Verstappen, we're actually going to give him Surf here, which is a great boost in terms of race start and decent tire management, not the greatest, but 5 lights here, lights out, and away we go. It's a good start for both of these guys here, which unfortunately was a little disappointing. It was not a perfect start, but Verstappen gets the better start out of the 2 drivers here. He's already up into P8 then as he makes his way into the first set of corners. The Dutch crowd roaring the Dutchman on here as Weber is sitting in P13 here, and that was exactly the start that we needed for both of these guys here. Verstappen is sitting in P7. Weber is sitting in P13. Make that P6 now as Verstappen's making a very nice move here. And now on towards the next lap in. But anyways, that was a very easy race here. It was a 2-stop for Verstappen, but it was a 1-stop for Weber. And we managed to hold this out for the end. And now Verstappen has the ability to just push infinitely. He's got a big battery to spend, and he's got fresh soft tires pretty much. Weber, by the way, is sitting in P4, so he is not too far ahead, but Verstappen might catch him if he does keep up the pace here. As we make our way through this sector here, Verstappen makes a very nice move on the outside of Norris there, and in towards the chicane we go for the final time. He's right behind Alonso, the 2-time champion, and he makes the move stick here. Weber finishes in P4. Verstappen will come straight home in P5, and unfortunately not take the fastest lap. I thought for sure he was going to take it, but whatever the case here, we finished ahead of our rival. We finishes P11 and P12. But that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this, definitely be sure to leave a like and subscribe. That was 6 races in one episode, and we won 6 and 0, so that was very nice. That's 6 wins closer. We only should take one more episode until we get to Series 6, so let's see if we can pull this off. But for now, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next episode then for one more time in Series 5.